Hello there, welcome back to my channel. This is Louise from Louise's Lifestyle. This morning I did a quick video on snowing in April. So it's off and on at the moment. I can see outside it's sunny now, but it is still bitterly cold. And I have seen the odd snow flurry since. But I'm just going to show you, we're going to do an indoor video now on propagating betel leaf. These are my betel leaf plants. I've got these two here, and I got these last year because my old betel leaf plant that I'd had almost 8 years died at the beginning of last year, and I hadn't taken any cuttings of that recently. I'd given them all, well, I'd sold them, not kept one back. So it is important, if you have betel leaf plants, to propagate them, keep one as a spare, so you've always got backup plants. So how do you propagate betel leaf? Well, in the tropics, which is where they come from, very easily. They just snip off a small section of the stem and pop that straight into soil. Within days it will have rooted, because they've got the humidity, they've got the warmth, they've got the soil conditions. Very, very easy to root in the tropics. However, here in the UK, we don't grow these outside. They have to be indoors. I keep mine here on the southeast facing window. Gets plenty of sunlight. However, in the winter, I have it in the grow tent there, because there isn't much sun and the days are much shorter. Now that we've got increased day length, they're out, and I can show you that this one in particular is putting out new growth, and hopefully it'll reach the top of that pole soon, and maybe have to get an even taller pole. So as it grows, then I can start taking cuttings from this plant. Now I'll show you what isn't a good candidate for cutting. So this here is new growth. I wouldn't take this because it's too soft and bendy, and what you want is the maturer part of the stem. So again, this is top growth, not ideal for cutting. I'd leave that alone. However, I'll show you on this plant what I would consider to be a good candidate for cutting. So here, so this plant isn't as tall as that one, but this is what we call the leader stem. So it's starting to grow up the pole, and it has these little root nodules, aerial roots there. Now here, this off the leader stem, there's this little, what we call like a lateral, and it's not very tall, but you don't really need long cuttings. The smaller cuttings seem to do better because there's less energy being used for water and, you know, the hormones that are needed for it to root, travelling up and down the stem. So the shorter stems tend to do better. So this is connected to the leader stem there. If I can just pull this a little bit further back out of the sun. You can see it's already got these two big aerial roots, if I can go in there. And that would in fact be ideal. If I cut that there, that would be ideal, but that's the leader stem, so I don't really want to do that. However, this stem here, just where it reaches or it connects to the main stem there, is the best place to cut. If I move this a bit further away from the sunlight, you might be able to see it a bit better. No, actually you can't see it. It's a bit tricky to show. So ideally, if I cut this there, and the next stage would be to put it in water. So once you take your cutting, pop it straight in water, just normal tap water. I like to use a glass jam jar. I like to use glass when I'm propagating rather than plastic. I don't know why, it just seems to do better. Any old jam jar, glass bottle, if you've got one. And then after a week to 10 days of it being in the water, take it out, because you need to sort of well, they suffer from the shock of being cut from the parent plant, so immediately you need to hydrate them, make sure that they're not going to keel over. So I would say a week in the jam jar of water, and then you can pop them in perlite. Once you pop them in perlite, so this is perlite if you're not sure what that is, you need to wet the perlite. After about a week or so, you can see there's a little root appearing. So that's the aim. You want to get these little nodules, these aerial roots, to start putting out little white. The sun's quite bright there, so just trying to focus there for you. So you can see the little root there. So leave it in the perlite. Once it's been in the perlite for a couple of weeks, you can check on it. So these are cuttings that I took previously. And then a couple of weeks later, the roots should look something like that. So I've taken this one from perlite and I've added to the perlite some compost, Miracle Grow compost, just to give it some nutrients now that the roots are getting a bit more established, so the plant, you know, starts to take off. This one's already starting to put out a new growth at the top there. So these are the stages of propagation. So I'm going to take a cutting of that one. It's a bit tricky to show holding the camera, so I'll pause the camera and I'll take the cutting and show you. Okay, so I've got my little clippers ready in the position, because I'm doing this with one hand, so I've got to be careful. So I'm just going to cut. There we go. So you've got a little bit of a root node there, and I'm just going to pop that straight in water. So pop that back in here, and then that's going to go in the water there. So it might get a slimmer jar, just so that the whole thing doesn't fall in water. That bottom leaf, I might just remove that. So I think I'll do that now. I'll just take that leaf off. So we're left with the two leaves. And what I'll do is I'll add a little bit more water to this. I'll just get my jug. Just so it reaches the bottom. That's it. I'll just put the jug down. Okay, so there it is in the water, and just keep it not in the direct sun, because the sun will just scorch the leaves and it'll be too much for the plant to cope with. So keep it in a light place but not direct sun, and just keep an eye that there's no rot going on, because that can happen. You can get the rot setting in, so it's not always plain sailing. So today's Bank Holiday Monday, and we're going to do an update as soon as we see some roots forming. Now I will only keep this in here for say 7 to 10 days. After that it will be going into perlite like this. So 7 to 10 days in water just to hydrate it, get it you know, sort of get it over the shock of being separated from the parent plant, because it's used to getting all its water, nutrients direct, and to suddenly just cut it and then plunge it maybe into, say, soil, it would just die immediately. So you need to hydrate it as soon as you cut it. So thank you for watching. If you like this video on Betelleaf propagation, press the like button, and if you haven't already subscribed and you want to see more videos like this, please subscribe to my channel. So thank you for watching. Bye bye.